welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 54 units of real estate. So these are moves I'm going to make to optimize my real estate portfolio as I prepare for a recession, or maybe we're in a recession right now. It's debatable. I think it's a rolling recession, so different sectors are getting hit at different times, but it's not all simultaneous like during the great financial crisis of 2008 when I was graduating high school. But we'll see. But I kind of felt like it was in segments where tech was hit, and then obviously real estate was kind of hit with high interest rates. So like I said, we'll see how things pan out. But this is what I plan on doing during the recession. So the recession, it's going to trigger a buyer's market. And it already is kind of a buyer's market, but if it's going to be even worse, the buyer's market's going to improve even further. So interest rates kind of triggered a buyer's market, in my opinion. That's why I've been buying my new construction from Lennar at $60,000 discounts, where original price was $320. They dropped the price to $300, and they give me, an additional $40,000 in credits because I'm paying all cash. And then what I'm doing is I close on the deal, I rent it out for roughly $2,150, and property tax isn't that much. It's 0.32% in Huntsville, Alabama, or Athens, Alabama, which is Limestone County. So that comes out to be about $950 a year. My insurance through Steadily is $850. HOA is $400 a year. Property management's 10%. I can do delayed financing, which is 80% LTV through Ameritrust. Ameritrust can do 90% LTV depending on my credit score and on the loan. So my credit score is good. I think their threshold is above 720, which I'm at 750 to 780, depending on where you look. And basically, if you do 80% of the purchase price, so they just see the purchase price of $320. They don't see that I put in $260 all in cash. I hope they don't see it. And if you do 80% of $320, that's about $260. Well, I put $260 all cash in. If I can go up to 90% LTV, that's about $280. I can actually make an additional $20,000 pulling money out of the deal. But likely my cash flow on this deal after, property management, it's going to be negative. Probably $100 a month. So not ideal, but it's an option where I can pull additional $20,000 if I need it. So I hope I'm buying these deals, and I hope that interest rates stay high and that there is a recession so that I continue to buy these deals like this. I call this a new construction burr. And the moment interest rates drop down to probably 5%, it's a healthy interest rate. I have videos talking about that. My home values are going to skyrocket and go up. If it goes down to 3% like during COVID, it's going to go crazy again. But I hope to buy a lot of these deals because I want Lennar to be desperate. I want Lennar to have oversupply. They are building less, so there's less supply, so maybe they don't drop prices as much. But I want to be known as a buyer for Lennar because I bought two already. I hope to buy more. So we'll see. But they are slowing down, but there's still inventory, and maybe they'll work with me and get more flexible with me. So during the recession, I want to be able to have large cash reserves, which I do, between my cash that I'm using to do my lazy burr and my stock portfolio, which I have a line of credit against. So if you have $1 million stock portfolio, you can get 70% against your line of credit. So you can have $700,000. So I can make aggressive offers. I have whole life insurance, which I could take a line of credit against or borrow against. I am planning on getting HELOCs on some of my properties that I plan on keeping. So most likely my property that my family's living, that I'm renting to my family. Because I'm planning on keeping that long term, and probably my house in Orange County, which I plan on keeping long term. So I want to get HELOCs on those properties so I can have more liquid cash or liquidity. So I'm basically still working my W-2 to build up cash reserves and to have extra income. I'm focusing on building my business. So I'm trying to put myself in a very liquid, strong position so I can buy amazing deals and then hold on during the bad times. Like if a lot of tenants start leaving, or if they evict tenants and I have higher expenses, I want to be able to weather the storm between my reserves, my W-2 job, my income. So that's what I kind of plan on doing. And another thing that I'm probably going to do, I hope I don't have to do it, but what I plan on doing for retirement is selling the property. You know, one could argue you want to sell before it really shit hits the fan. But conceptually, I want to sell maybe two single-family homes that I have that I won't get a line of credit against, and use that to pay off my primary residence to wipe off my mortgage, $5,500 a month, and then maybe pay off one or two of my apartment complexes, which will then wipe off $5,000 a month in debt. So that would increase my cash flow by $5,000 a month and reduce my expense by $5,000 a month. So by lowering my expenses, it puts me in a stronger position. So that's another thing that I want to do. So this is how I kind of preparing myself for the recession that's coming, and how I want to optimize my portfolio for the recession that's coming. So you got to have that strategy and come into place and know that I have this plan, but if the recession, if it gets worse than I anticipate, like 2008, I have to be able to pivot and make moves accordingly. So, like I said, that's why I want liquidity, because you want to survive during the bad times. And you want to be in a strong position. So my portfolio is 50% LTV, debt to equity. I have large reserves. I'm getting more liquidity between lines of credits on my stocks, between lines of credits on my properties that I plan on keeping. And, you know, if push comes to shove, I'll house hack my property. You know, I have 2 rooms vacant right now. I rent out each room for like $1,200 each. That's another $2,500 a month if push comes to shove. Or I can get additional jobs and work more jobs. I'm fine with that too. So you just gotta be flexible and have your options laid out in front of you. So that's how I'm planning. So, like I said, I want to be in a strong position. So I'm a buyer. You know, I want to make money when times are bad. Like Warren Buffett says, when there's blood in the streets, you want to buy deals. When people are going right, you go left. When people are going left, you go right. So that's what I mean by I want to invest in the long term. And that's why I believe in Huntsville, Alabama, long term. But there might be a short-term period where it's tough. It's going to be tough. So that's why I never tried to leverage too much. I'm at 50% LTV, and I want to do my new construction burrs to buy more deals, because Lennar still wants to sell. So I want to buy, and I hope to stack up at least, well, in my mind, for some reason, 20 of these new builds. Why 20? Is because I want to be able to sell half once they double in value in 10, 15 years. And then, because it doubled in value, I'll sell half, so I'll sell 10 of my 20, and use that to pay off the other 10. So I own 10 free and clear. And now, I own 10 free and clear, each renting out for $2,000 a month. That's $20K a month. And if my expenses are, let's just call it $10,000, I still net, or let's say $5,000 between, you know, property tax, insurance, HOA, property management. That's $15K a month that I'm netting. So, you know, for me, I kind of want to do more than the 20. I'm hoping to get to like 30 or 40. Let's see how far I can go with this new construction burr strategy. And it just depends on the interest rates being high. If interest rates are lower, I might not be able to do the strategy anymore. So, you know, we'll see how much I get, but at least 20. Ideally, maybe closer to 30. We'll see. It's pretty passive. Maybe once I own 30, I'm going to negotiate my property management fee to go down, because I own a lot of units. So maybe they'll be more flexible with me, because I own so many units. So that's another thing that I plan on doing. So that's how I want to position myself. So right now, I'm just trying to stack cash, be more liquid, lower my expenses, save more money, build more streams of income, get more liquidity between HELOCs, lines of credit to my stock portfolio, our large cash reserve to me and my wife, and yeah, just preparing for that recession whenever it comes. Maybe it's right now, maybe it's going to come soon. I don't know. And like I said, me and my wife are perfectly fine that if we have to house hack a room, so be it. We'll house hack a room. Or if push comes to shove, we can rent out our house that we're living in temporarily and then move back in over our in-laws. Yeah, they got 2 empty rooms. And pick up extra jobs if needed. Like I'll work, per diem as a pharmacist if needed. So yeah, you just gotta be flexible. And this flexibility and scrappiness helped me build my $7+ million net worth by the age of 35. So I've always been this way, call it the Vietnamese inside of me, very scrappy. My roots are my ancestors came from a third world country. So you have to be scrappy and make do what you got. And be flexible. And yeah, obviously if times are tough, like we're gonna spend even less. Like we're not gonna go out as much. We're gonna eat at home more. So it's just kind of like, balancing things out. But like I said, I think if there's a recession, I'm gonna buy a lot of real estate. I'll be honest. A lot of multifamily investors will get wiped out, and I have a strong cash position. I can buy deals. I work at W2. Banks like me. So opportunity will arrive, and if I can strike at buying a big discount, that's how you make money. So if I play this recession well, and I buy a lot of real estate during this recession, like if I get my goal of 20 to 30 new construction lazy burrs for like 260 is my purchase price, and if interest rates drop to 3 to 5% over the next 5 years, I'm confident these assets will skyrocket and double in value in about 10 years. And rents will skyrocket as well because wages will go up as well because of inflation. So, my debt is fixed, 30-year fix. So that's another key point here. I forgot to. I want 30-year fixed debt. I don't want ARMs. And ideally you don't want balloons, but with commercial real estate, fortunately there are balloons. If you do have to get a balloon, get a 10-year balloon, which is the max. Or you can go through Velocity Mortgage or Ameritrust. I know Velocity Mortgage allows you to do 30-year fixed on commercial assets, apartment complexes, 5+ units. It's a slightly higher interest rate, but you don't have to worry about balloons. So if interest rates are low at 3%, the interest rate might be 4.5%. 4.5% is still good, and it's fixed for 30 years, so no headache. Or Ameritrust, they offer up to 20 units, or they offer 30-year fixed. So that's an option. And I have a 26 unit. Maybe I can beg them to take my 26 unit. It's not too far off. So don't get variable rate debt and no balloons. I know a lot of people during COVID, they got a 5-year ARM in 2020, and it's calling due now in 2025, and interest rates are high, not favorable. So they're either forced to sell or refinance into a higher interest rate. So no ARMs, and you want 30-year fixed debt. So that's a key nuance of that. Another thing you want to do is you want to watch your expense like a hawk. I have a video out this, like you want to monitor your personal expenses. So can you cut out that Netflix subscription? Can you eat out less? Like what can you cut out that won't lower your quality of life that significantly? Like maybe you don't buy as much clothes, or you buy clothes on clearance. You also have to watch the expense of your properties. Very important, and something that I'm hunkering down more. Like, can you save on your insurance? Can you increase your deductible to $10,000 to save money? Are you shopping around your insurance policies through multiple areas? Like you use Steadily. I'm sponsored and partnered with Steadily. So click on my link to get a quote. Maybe you can save some money. Are there things that would be nice to repair for your apartment but not necessary? Like, for example, like, yes, repainting maybe my apartment would be nice, but is it required during a recession? No. So it can wait till when times are better and when you have a stronger cash position. You got to make sure that your property managers are on it, right? Are they getting multiple quotes to repair plumbing, or are they just going to the same plumber? Because it's easy to go to the same plumber versus getting multiple quotes. You want to touch base with your property managers even more. Like right now, I do once a month, but if it's bad times, it's going to be once a week or once every 2 weeks. So you want to increase your cadence of talking with your property manager when times are tough. Would you be okay giving rent specials and move-in specials during the bad times, right? If rents are dropping, are you okay giving a month free of rent? Or are you okay dropping your rents from $700 to $650? Are you okay with renewing your tenant at the same rents if they've been great? Like one of my tenants in Huntsville, Alabama, great tenant. The rent was $1,900, signed a 1-year lease. We didn't raise the rents because they're a great tenant. We want them to stay. If they leave, it's going to cost me money to, like, probably $1,500 to make the unit rent ready. And on top of that, it's going to be vacant for 1 to 3 months until I find the new tenant that can sign the lease and that moves in. So I'm losing out on 3 months of income, which could be $6,000 just to raise the rents by $100. It's not worth it. So if your tenants are good, consider not raising the rents during the bad times, right? Or raising it very little. Like if market rents are $3,500 and you're at $3,000, maybe raise it $3,100, and just tell them, hey, rents are $3,500. Like, give them the binder strategy, or you give them the binder of all the market rents and they decide their rents. So these are the pivots you have to make, and you want to track your expenses in your business and your personal life. So you have to hunker down when times get tough. And if you can do this well, you can buy a lot of real estate. I can become so wealthy. Like, I didn't know COVID would happen. Interest rates would drop and property values would skyrocket. But I made, thanks to like the lower interest rates and the crazy inflation, I made millions during that time. And I think what I heard was you make your millions during the bad times. The most millionaires are made during the bad times. So I want to be strongly positioned. Like I said, I want to lock in one of these new construction burrs every 2 to 3 months. So that's one every 2 months. That's 6 a year. If this truly works better than I expect and the lending works for me, I could pull my line of credit and I can buy 2 every 2 months. So buy 2 every 2 months, and maybe because I'm buying 2, I can negotiate a bigger discount between the two. So instead of, let's say my average price is $260, all cash for buying 1, if I'm buying 2 all cash, maybe I can get it at $240 each and save $20,000 each, or maybe get it at $250 each and save $10,000 each. So I can get 5 for $500. I can get 2, and then what I would do is I'd wait for it to get rented out, and then once it's rented out, I'll go buy another 2. But that's why I'm only buying 1 right now, is because my limiting factor is, can it get rented out? Because I don't want to have another property if it's not rented out, unless I can float that, mortgage payment. But technically, I'm paying it cash, so it's okay. But if I'm using a HELOC to pay for it, I do have to float that payment. So I wouldn't mind, but I can't go too crazy. But if I can do 2 every 2 weeks or 2 months, that's 12 a year. So if this recession continues, or this buyer's market continues for the next 2 years, in 2 years, that's 24. I hit my goal of like close to 30. So, that's kind of what I want to do. So we'll see. But at the minimum, I want to buy 1 every 3 months, ideally. And I can possibly expand it too. If I'll ask Lennar for my next one, hey, if I buy 2 of them cash, how much of a discount can you give me for 2? And I'm going to ask for 240 times 2 it's 480 for two if I pay all cash. So give me a break because I'm buying more. So we'll see. And like you said, I want to know if I want to use Ameritrust mortgage or if I want to use Lending One. Those are my top two contenders right now. I'll keep you guys posted. And if you want to use my lenders, just click on my link tree to send me an email. If you want my connection to Ameritrust, if you want my connection to Lending One, then the link's in my link tree as well. So, like I said, when times are tough, you can play hardball, especially if you have cash. So yeah. Another thing that I want to consider during these bad times is really going down my business. Like, when times are tough, like during COVID, a lot of YouTube channels blew up during COVID. When times are tough during a recession, YouTube channels are going to blow up, and a lot of my content is just sharing what I'm going through and experiencing during the bad times in recession. You know, my channel's been doing better lately just because I talk about the same stuff, but I just add the word recession and it does better. Like, you add one word and it does better. It's crazy to me. But you gotta do what you gotta do to appease the YouTube algorithm, right? I'm talking the same things, but you add the word recession, it does better. I hope it doesn't become clickbait because, you know, you could argue that it is a recession or it's coming to be a recession. Same concepts. So I think my channel, if times are tough and I'm buying a lot of real estate, that'll give me a lot of content. And I think my channel will blow up big time. Like, my goal is just to hit 10K. But if there's really bad times and I'm continuing at the pace I'm going at, and I'm continuing to buy a lot of real estate and like really being active in the market, I'm gonna have a lot of content. And at that point, I think 50K to 100K is more feasible for me. So I will double down on business and put all my eggs in my basket. You know, stop going out and having fun and put more content out there. And you know, once I own enough properties in Huntsville, Alabama, I'll fly out there. I'll record some content at all my properties. Another thing that I want to do is I want to build, you know, before the recession happens or during the recession, I want to build my ADU for my property in Orange County, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, or 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I'm getting quotes. And from there, it's really about getting that built because it increases value. And like I said, like if I can build an ADU for, let's call it 260 or 250 at a HELOC at 8%, my monthly payment, assuming it's amortized over 30 years, is about $1,800. And I know a 2-bedroom in Orange County can rent, believe it or not, for $2,800 to $3,000 a month. So if I rent it out for $3,000 a month, that's $1,200 a month in net positive cash flow, which I would take as extra principal payments to pay down that HELOC. And that's another thing that I'm doing now. Like, okay, let's just play devil's advocate, and it's not a recession right now, as people posted in my comments. Another thing I want to do is I want to start paying down my debt a little more aggressively. Like right now, we're buying a lot of real estate, but you know, let's just say I make an extra $1,000 through my business, I'm gonna take that $1,000 and dump it to make extra principal payments on my properties, on my primary residence specifically, because it's a higher interest rate of 6.5%. So there's a lot of little tweaks that you can make to really optimize your portfolio. So I'm just trying to show you my thought process as somebody who's built up a $7 million plus net worth, 54 units, and I'm actively trying to buy deals. So y'all learn from me, and I'm still learning as I'm going along through this, and I'm documenting my journey. So you guys can shortcut your journey and your experience. I'm all about that, right? And a lot of the content out there, like Bigger Pockets, they're not transparent and they don't share the thought process like me. So I kind of feel obligated now to share this. And I try to do what I can. And, you know, I recorded my car on my commute. And sorry, I know the sound's not the greatest, but I hate using mics because the mics crap out and I waste my time. So that's why I don't use a mic. It's just my phone. And another thing that I'm probably going to do during the bad times is network. Like, networking has been so game-changing for me. Like, I joined a school community, and I'm networking, and I'm going on coaching calls to network and learn from other people. I also create my own school community, so you can check it out in a free trial, but I want to get like-minded people who want to build wealth together and, have, Q&As at a certain cadence. But networking is key, because when I'm networking with other people, like, that's how I learned about Steadily. And thanks to switching to Steadily Insurance, I saved like $2,000 on all my insurance policies, and I'm a partner with them. So now I'm getting, referral revenue for Steadily. So check out the link down below and get a quote to see if you can save some money. And, I'm learning about these different lenders like Convoy, Ameritrust, Lending One, like different debt service coverage ratio lenders who get more creative. Like, I learned about Figure from a lender, or from a person, because you want to see as many loan options as you can. Because to me, lenders are like tools in your tool chest. A different lender serves a different purpose. The more lenders you have that you know of, the more creative you can get to take down your deals. Like Velocity Mortgage can do 50-40-10, where they allow a 40% seller carry second. That's creative. Ameritrust Mortgage allows 90% LTV debt service coverage ratio loans, interest only, amortized over 40 years, and they're investor friendly. So they just look at your credit score. Like, you got to get more tools in your toolbox. And on top of that, you have to do creative financing. So that's another topic that I want to get into here, if you stayed this long, is creative financing is going to be huge during the recession, because people want to sell high. They don't want to sell low. So at that point, if they own it free and clear, you can negotiate your terms. You negotiate your down payment. Most I would do is 10% down. And I would get creative and say, I'll give you 10% down over 5 years. That's 2% down a year for the next 5 years. I negotiate a low interest rate of, ideally 0 or 1%, 2%, 3%. And I would ask for a long balloon of at least 10 years minimum, ideally 20, 30 years. And if they only want a short balloon of 10 years, bake in a clause where if you cannot refinance out of it, the balloon extends for another year to protect yourself. So creative financing will get huge. Can you assume loans subject to? Assume great interest rates subject to. Like, it's crazy. Like, I have an $850K loan at 6.5%. My monthly mortgage is $5,500 a month. If I had an $850K loan at 3%, it would be $3,500 a month. And I was just like, oh my God, if my mortgage is $3,500 a month, that's so cheap to me. I'd be $5,500 all in, if you include property tax, insurance, HOA, which is nothing. Versus right now, I pay $7,500 a month all in. So it's crazy to me that, like, for bigger loan amounts, interest rate spread matters, right? 6.5 versus 3 on an $850K loan, it's big time. Versus the difference between a 6.5% versus a 3% on a $250K loan, which I'm buying in Huntsville, Alabama, might be only like $300. So it's not as significant. That's why high interest rates don't make or break in cheaper markets. That's why I'm buying in cheaper markets when interest rates are higher. Another strategy I'm doing, if you noticed it. Like, yeah, buying in California is terrible when interest rates are higher, because your expense will be $2,000 more per month for the same loan, and your rents are going to be $2,000 more in California. No, but in Huntsville, Alabama, the difference is $300. Yeah, you can afford to float that $300, even if you're negative $200 a month because of the interest rate spread. So what? I can take that hit. I can take $200 per month negative. Not ideal, but can I take $2,000 negative per month in California? No. So, that's why I'm going to different markets during the bad times. Like, maybe it doesn't make sense to buy in California unless you can make large down payments or you do creative financing. That's why you buy in cheaper markets like Huntsville, Alabama, like the Midwest. So be open to that, right? Be open to that and trying all avenues. So yeah, like I said, when you network with people, you get access to more resources. You kind of like get different beliefs. Like I like going these like coaching calls with Cody Davis, who I'm doing a podcast with. But he owns a multifamily, and he gives me a lot of different perspective because he has about 8 years of experience too, and he has different wisdom that I can learn from. So like, that's why I love the school community that I'm in. It's only $20 a month, but I'm getting more than $20 a month in value. Mine's $30 a month, and I definitely know for sure you get more than $30 per month in value from learning from like-minded people. Like, you can learn from their experience. You can learn by rent by the room. You can learn by short-term rental. You can learn from different renters or different models or different investing strategies, different goals. So when you try some people doing it, you'll learn, and that's key, right? So that's really the goal and really the plan that I have. So like I said, I hope it doesn't get worse than what it really is. I hope this is the worst it is, if I'm being honest. But if it does, I'm ready. I'll be ready. I'll be ready to buy deals, and I'll document my journey. And like I said, if it gets worse than this, I'm gonna be so wealthy. If the next 2 years are as bad as we think it's gonna be, and I make my moves right, and I can weather the storm for 2 years, to just call it, I think my net worth will be over 10 million at that point. And my YouTube channel will be closer to 50K, because I'm gonna document the journey. So yeah, it's been, I'm interested to see. So like, if it's good or bad, I'm okay. So if it stays as is right now, so it's like me, I can buy real estate in any market, right? Like, if it's just status quo, I know minimum I'm gonna buy one new construction burr every 2 to 3 months. That's my minimum. If shit hits the fan and gets even worse, I can maybe buy 2 every 3 months from Lennar, because no one will be able to buy, or people are too afraid to buy, so I can make even more aggressive offers. If let's just say this is the worst and I'm buying one a month and interest rates drop, all my properties will skyrocket in value, and my net worth will go up, and then I'll just refinance, and now I'll make even more cash flow, right? If my interest rate drops from 6.5% to like 4%, or let's say 3%, I can save $2,000 a month on my mortgage, and I can refinance my 2020 unit, which has a 6.5% interest rate too, and save more money on that. And I'll still continue to buy new construction, because I have a relationship now, and I'll just strike first, and I'll strike fast, because I always do. And I'll do more creative financing. So like you said, it doesn't matter what hand I'm dealt, you just got to play your cards and have be creative, think outside the box, network, and then you can always work with the situation you have to the best of your abilities at the time. And I've always been good at that. So whether it's a seller's market, buyer's market, recession, bull market, high interest rates, low interest rates, rolling recession, doesn't matter. I have a strategy. So that's really it. So hopefully, thanks for staying this long. I'm trying to do my longer rant videos, because you're commuting with me, and it helps my time goes by, so thank you. But if you want to ask me a question, drop it down below. I'll try to make a video response if there's a theme. But if you want to send me an email, you want coaching, you want to join my school community to network on a free trial, if you want my lending contact, if you want to send me an email, if you want coaching, mentorship, click on my link tree down below. It has all those links. There's a lot of links there. Try to make it convenient for you guys. Otherwise, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.